All right, so get ready for today's deep dive.
Oh, yeah.
We're going on a special holiday trip to Mars.
To Mars.
Yeah, we're talking about Santa Claus Conquers the Martians from 1964.
Oh, wow.
I know what you're thinking.
Right.
Cheesy special effects.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
A little bit campy.
Definitely. But you know what's really interesting about this film is that there's actually more to it than just a silly holiday movie.
Okay, so more than meets the eye.
Yeah, like underneath all those dated special effects, there's some thought-provoking stuff about like society and freedom, even technology.
Okay, now you've got me intrigued, I gotta admit it.
Good.
So where do we even begin with a movie about Santa Claus on Mars?
Well, let's start with this.
Okay.
Can joy and laughter, can those things actually exist in a world that's totally ruled by logic and efficiency? Because that's like the main conflict that's happening in this film.
Okay.
And believe it or not, it all starts with some Martian children who are not very happy.
Unhappy Martian children.
On Mars.
On Mars.
I mean, I guess I can relate to wanting something you can't have when you're a kid.
Sure.
Come on, we're talking about Mars.
Right.
They probably have like teleporters and robot servants and stuff.
Yeah, dude, they have all that stuff.
Really?
Martian society in this film, it's super advanced
Wow.
tech that we can only dream of right now.
Uh-huh.
But the thing is, they've created this really structured and controlled environment.
I see.
And it's all about efficiency and order, even when it comes to the kids.
Yeah, and we see this early on in the film with Bomar and Gurmar.
Yeah.
These two Martian kids who are like obsessed with Earth TV, specifically with Santa Claus.
Yes.
And their parents are like not having it. No, they're not happy about it.
Which I get. Who wants their kid glued to the screen when they could be out there like learning astrophysics or something?
Well, that's just it. They are learning astrophysics.
What?
Yeah, through direct brain implants.
What?
That's how they do education on Mars.
Whoa.
No time wasted.
So efficient.
Super efficient, but it doesn't leave much room for like, you know, exploration or fun or anything like that.
Yeah.
And that's where the film starts to say something about controlling society. Like these kids are being molded into perfect little citizens, but at what cost?
So it's not enough to just have all this amazing technology.
Right.
You got to have joy. You got to have freedom to imagine things.
Exactly. You need that spark.
Otherwise, what's the point?
And who better to represent that missing element than Santa Claus?
Of course.
The symbol of, you know, childhood wonder and all that.
The big guy.
Yeah. And the film puts these two things against each other.
Yeah.
You know, you have this super logical Martian world, and then you have Earth and our holiday traditions, which are kind of wild and all over the place. Which is a really cool contrast.
So the Martians, they're all about being efficient.
Totally.
But they've completely forgotten about play and imagination.
That's it. They see Earth as this primitive and inefficient place. But then we get to see things through the eyes of these two Earth children.
Who are they?
Billy and Betty, and they're accidentally kidnapped along with Santa.
Kidnapped.
Yeah, and they bring this sense of wonder and excitement that the Martians just don't have anymore.
Okay, so about that kidnapping.
Yeah, what about it?
I'm not sure duct taping a bunch of Earth Santas and throwing them in a spaceship is really in the holiday spirit.
Yeah, that was a choice.
It was an interesting choice.
That whole scene, it just shows you how different these cultures are. The Martians, they approach everything with logic, even kidnapping.
Right.
They just don't get the chaos and spontaneity of Earth traditions.
Yeah.
They just don't get it.
And then there's Voldar.
Oh, yeah, Boulder?
The Martian who is like totally against the whole Santa Claus mission.
He hates it.
Is he just like a grumpy killjoy or what's his deal?
Well, I think Voldar represents something real.
Okay.
The fear of change, not wanting to mess with things when they're working fine.
Makes sense.
In a place like Mars where everything is controlled.
Yeah.
Someone like Santa who's all about chaos and free will.
He seems dangerous.
He is a threat to them.
But isn't it kind of ironic that these Martians with all their fancy technology, they resort to kidnapping to solve their problems?
It is kind of funny when you think about it.
Like they can build spaceships.
Right.
And brain implants. But they can't just like ask Santa to visit.
Nope. They're so focused on being in control that they don't even think about cooperating.
So they take Santa to Mars.
Yep.
Set him up with a toy factory. Hoping he'll bring some Christmas cheer to those unhappy Martian children. But I'm guessing things don't go exactly according to plan.
Well, you've got Santa, this jolly guy who loves making toys by hand and believes in imagination and all that.
Right.
And you're trying to make that work in a place that loves efficiency and mass production.
That's got to be a clash of cultures.
Oh, huge clash.
And then we have Droppo,
Ah,
Santa's Martian assistant.
he's the best.
A little bit clumsy, but very lovable.
Yes.
I have a feeling he's going to be pretty important to this whole Martian Christmas adventure.
Oh, Droppo is key.
So we've got Santa on Mars,
Yep.
Voldar trying to ruin everything,
Uh-huh.
and those Martian kids who still aren't truly happy.
Even with all those toys.
Even with all those toys.
They have a real problem.
So where do we go from here?
That's the big question, and it takes us right to the heart of the film's message.
Okay, I'm listening.
Bringing Santa to Mars, even with a workshop full of toys, it doesn't fix the real issue.
Which is?
They don't have real freedom. They don't have real choices.
Yeah.
And that's where things get really interesting.
Okay, so we're back in the thick of things on Mars.
Yeah, right back in it.
Santa's got his toy factory going.
Uh-huh.
But we're starting to get the sense that something's not quite right.
Right. Not everything is jolly.
Those Martian kids, they've got all these great toys now.
They do.
But they still seem to be missing something.
That's it. That real joy.
Like it's not enough to just have stuff.
Exactly. The movie really challenges this idea that if you have things, then you'll be happy. The Martian kids, they've got everything you could imagine technology-wise,
Right.
but they can't choose. They can't explore. They can't really play.
And I think that's what makes the difference between how Santa makes toys and how the Martians live so interesting.
Oh, yeah. Total clash of styles.
Santa's all about those handcrafted toys, you know?
Yeah, those one-of-a-kind creations.
The kind that spark a kid's imagination.
Uh-huh.
But the Martians, they're obsessed with efficiency, with mass production.
And control. Total control.
Everything's got to be perfect.
Which means they're toys.
Yeah.
They're amazing, technically.
Yeah.
Perfectly made, no flaws.
But they're missing something.
It's like in trying to make them perfect,
Yeah.
they took away the fun.
The fun of a toy.
Yeah, like that element of surprise.
Uh-huh.
The little imperfections that make you want to use your imagination.
It's like looking at those toys in a store window.
Exactly.
They're beautiful, but you can't touch them.
You can't mess with them.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to mess up that perfection.
And there's no room for messy play in a place like that.
And the film's kind of hinting that this control thing,
Yeah.
it's not just about the toys.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's their whole society.
And that brings us back to Voldar.
Oh, Voldar the control freak.
He's getting more and more determined to sabotage this whole Santa operation.
He's got to stop Santa.
He sees Santa as a threat to their perfect little world.
Chaos and unpredictability. Voldar hates it.
But in a way, I get where he's coming from.
I mean, yeah, he's afraid of change.
Right. And change can be scary.
Especially on Mars, where everything's always the same.
But the film also shows us that always trying to control everything
Yeah.
doesn't always work out so well.
Voldar's plans, they keep backfiring.
And creating even more chaos.
The irony.
Speaking of chaos,
What about it?
what about those two Earth kids?
Billy and Betty?
Yeah, last we saw them, they were being taken to a Martian school.
Oh, yeah. That should be fun.
Oh, I can't imagine. It's anything like a school on Earth.
Not even close. Remember, Martian education is all about those brain implants.
Right, download the information directly into your brain.
Super efficient, no time wasted.
But no room for debate or discussion or, like, thinking for yourself.
Nope, just straight facts, no opinions.
The ultimate expression of their need for control.
Absolutely.
So how do these two Earth kids react to this?
It's got to be a culture shock.
Right, these free-spirited kids thrown into this super-structured environment?
Well, at first, they're just overwhelmed. But
Uh,
Billy,
Yeah.
he's a curious kid. And he starts looking around the Martian spaceship.
Oh, really?
And he gets fascinated by the airlock.
The airlock.
Yeah, he starts studying how it works.
Interesting.
He doesn't know it yet, but that little detail
Yeah.
is going to be really important later
Okay,
on.
now that's what I call foreshadowing.
It's all coming together.
But before we get to that,
Hear about Droppo.
yeah, Droppo, he has completely fallen for Santa.
Oh, he loves Santa.
He's like Santa's little Martian helper.
He's an honorary elf.
And his transformation, it's just so heartwarming.
It's adorable.
He's so sincere about this whole Christmas thing.
You can't help but smile when you see him.
He even finds a spare Santa suit
He does.
and starts trying to make toys,
He wants to be just like Santa.
which I'm sure the other Martians find hilarious.
Oh, they think he's crazy.
But Droppo's little toy-making adventure,
Yeah.
it gives Voldar an idea
Oh,
for his most devious plan yet.
this can't be good.
So tell us about Voldar's plan and how it all goes wrong.
So Voldar, he sees Droppo in that Santa suit.
Uh-huh. And he thinks I know how to make Santa look bad.
Okay.
So he messes with the machines in the toy factory.
Sabotages them.
Yeah, he makes it go haywire.
And instead of those perfect Martian toys,
right,
what do they make?
They start making these weird, crazy toys.
Like what?
Toys that don't make any sense.
So Voldar's trying to prove that Santa's way of doing things,
yeah,
it doesn't work on Mars.
It's like he's saying, look, this Christmas stuff, it's just not going to fly here.
But here's the thing.
What?
Those Martian kids
Yeah.
who were bored by those perfect toys,
Uh-huh.
they're actually interested in these weird, messed up toys.
They are. It's crazy.
It's like they've been so starved for anything new.
Anything different, anything weird.
Is that these crazy toys are like a breath of fresh air?
And the film's saying something here.
What's that?
Sometimes a little bit of chaos, a little bit of the unexpected.
Yeah.
Can be good.
Even on Mars.
Even on Mars, it shakes things up.
It gets them thinking in new ways. And that's dangerous to someone like Voldar.
But messing up the toys,
Yeah.
that wasn't the end of Voldar's plan, was it?
Oh, no, he took things way further.
He decided to kidnap Santa.
He had to stop him.
But he grabbed the wrong guy.
He got dropped.
Droppo in the Santa suit.
Voldar thought he had the real Santa.
So now we've got two Santas on Mars.
It's a Christmas miracle.
The real Santa trying to escape.
And Droppo spreading Christmas cheer.
What could possibly go wrong?
A lot could go wrong, and it does.
Oh.
Back on Earth, Billy manages to send a message home.
Wait, so Earth knows what's going on?
Do they know the kids and Santa are in trouble?
So they're coming to the rescue.
They're sending a spaceship to get them.
Wow, this just got real.
This is an interplanetary incident now.
Talk about a Christmas crisis.
Things are about to get messy.
Okay, so before we jump into the Earth spaceship arriving
Yeah.
and the big showdown between Santa and Voldar,
Okay.
let's take a minute to think about what we've learned so far.
What have we...
We've got this society that's obsessed with control.
Mm-hmm.
Kids who don't know how to really play.
Yeah.
And a villain who's terrified of anything that might change things.
That's Voldar for you.
There's a lot to think about here.
Oh, yeah. Lots to unpack.
Okay, so here we are, the final chapter of our Martian Christmas adventure.
The climax.
Last we saw, Voldar had Droppo locked up.
Mm-hmm.
A spaceship from Earth was on its way.
Things are about to get real.
And like a million questions were left unanswered.
We left you hanging.
Yeah, so what happens next?
Well, it's a turning point for Kimar, the Martian leader.
The one who brought Santa to Mars in the first place.
Right. He thought Santa was going to fix all their problems.
So it turned out to be more complicated than that.
Way more complicated.
And as Voldar keeps doing crazier and crazier things,
yeah, he just keeps getting worse.
Kimar starts to see that maybe Voldar is the real problem here.
That's it. Voldar and his obsession with control. It's like he's finally realizing that a little bit of Santa's spirit. Yeah, that joy and freedom.
It might actually be a good thing for Mars.
It might be just what they need.
So he tries to arrest Voldar.
Makes sense.
But Voldar
Voldar
is always one step ahead.
Always got a plan.
He escapes.
And takes the real Santa hostage.
No way.
This time he got the right one.
So he's really going to try to prove that Santa doesn't belong on Mars?
He's got to have the last word.
But Voldar, with all his planning and technology,
yeah,
he always forgets about one thing.
Oh, what's that?
Human connection.
The heart of it all.
Kindness.
Yeah.
That Christmas spirit.
It's more powerful than he realizes.
While he's busy plotting,
yeah,
Santa's busy connecting with people.
He's good at that.
He even wins over the Martian guard who's supposed to be watching him.
Really?
Yeah.
So even on Mars.
Even on Mars.
You can't escape the power of a little kindness.
But how does Santa actually escape from Voldar?
That's a good question. It's not like he can just fly away.
Right, he doesn't have his sleigh.
Well, remember Droppo?
Yababo, in the Santa suit.
Yeah, he's still running around causing chaos.
Bless his heart.
And all that chaos, it creates a distraction.
So Santa can slip away.
And no one even notices.
Droppo, the accidental hero.
He saved the day without even realizing it.
But what about those Earth kids?
Billy and Betty.
They're still stuck in this Martian mess.
Oh, yeah. They're in deep.
And when the Earth spaceship finally arrives...
things get intense. Voldar, he's desperate.
He wants to stay in control.
So he tries to use Billy and Betty as hostages. Threatens to throw them out into space.
That's awful.
It's a dark moment.
But I have a feeling Billy and his airlock knowledge.
Oh, yeah. That's going to come in handy.
It's all going to make sense.
Well, Billy remembers what he learned, and he uses it to trick Voldar.
So he saves himself and Betty.
They escape just in time.
It's like the movie's telling us.
What's it telling us?
That you never know what random bit of knowledge
might
end up saving your life.
You got to be curious. Got to explore. Gotta learn.
So what happens to Voldar?
He gets what he deserves.
Justice is served.
Remember those Martian kids?
Momar and Gurmar, the ones obsessed with Earth TV.
Yeah, they were Santa's biggest fans.
They've changed.
Can't open their eyes.
They understand the importance of play and freedom now.
They get it.
And they tell Kimar about Voldar's plan.
They save the day.
So the kids are the real heroes.
They represent the change that Santa brought to Mars.
It's like even in a society that's all about logic.
Yeah.
There's hope for the next generation.
They can see things differently.
So Santa's free.
Voldar's defeated.
The Earth kids are safe.
Everyone's ready to go home.
Back to Earth for some Christmas dinner.
But wait, there's one more thing.
What's that?
Santa sees how much Droppo loves Christmas.
He really does.
So he suggests that Droppo stay on Mars.
As the Martian Santa.
A permanent Santa for Mars.
What does Kimar say?
He agrees.
So Droppo gets to keep spreading Christmas cheer.
Even after everyone else goes back to Earth.
So Santa did conquer the Martians.
He did.
Not with weapons or technology.
Nope.
But with kindness, generosity.
And that Christmas magic.
It's a surprisingly heartwarming ending.
For a movie that started with a kidnapping.
It really makes you think.
It does.
About the importance of play and imagination.
And embracing the unexpected.
And the power of human connection.
No matter how different we are.
You know, I went into this thinking Santa Claus Conquers the Martians was just going to be a cheesy B movie.
I get it.
But it's so much more than that.
It really is.
There's a lot of depth there.
More than meets the eye.
And for our listeners out there,
yeah,
imagine a world where joy and laughter aren't just allowed, but they're encouraged.
In every society, even the super advanced ones.
What would that world be like?
That's a good question.
How could we make that happen?
Maybe it starts with remembering that Christmas spirit.
Yeah.
That feeling of wonder and generosity and connection.
Not just at Christmas.
All year round.
Well, that about wraps up our deep dive into Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. A surprisingly deep classic.
Thanks for joining us.